To get to the timing chain cover, the water pump must come out. To get the water pump off, I removed 2 brackets for the alternator and a bracket for the AC. After starting to tear down the engine to get the cam out, I kept thinking back about all that blow-by that I was getting. And I was changing the rocker and doing some carb work. So I decided to do a leak down test, see if I needed to pull the engine out and do a rebuild. So I'm starting the leak down. Working on cylinder 1. Cylinder 1 seems to be okay. Leak down test for cylinder 8. We can see already that there's significant leakage on cylinder 8. Let's see if we can tell where the leak's coming from. Oh yeah, most of the leak is coming from the distributor hole, which goes down to the crankcase. So this is likely the rings in the cylinder. This is cylinder 4. This is cylinder 3. And this is the one that had the rocker that the push rod pushed through, and then had the exhaust valve that wasn't opening. So it appears to be good. This is cylinder 6. Looks good. This is cylinder 5. Appears to be good. Cylinder 7 appears to be okay. Cylinder 2 appears to be good. So out of the 8 cylinders, I only had one, cylinder 8, that failed the leak down test. After the leak down test, I'm examining the spark plugs, see if there's anything I can infer from their condition. You can see that almost all of them are sooty and have deposits. So we can infer that there's a a rich condition where the air fuel mixture isn't being burned completely. On number 3, it appears that if you can recall, we had the condition where the rod went through the intake rocker, and then it appeared that the cam lobe has been worn away and the exhaust for that cylinder was not opening or closing very much. But it appears that some fuel, for at least some amount of time, some fuel has been running through that cylinder, and is cleaning the spark plug. Because of its condition, it's not as sooty as the other ones, but it doesn't look like it was burning. It was just the fuel going through the cylinder was cleaning the spark plug more than was getting deposited from ignition. On cylinder 8, I'll try to get a little closer to this. This is the cylinder that we had the failed leak down, and there is more carbon deposit on this spark plug than I have ever seen on any spark plug ever. So it is significantly fouled, and it's hard too. It's solid. It doesn't easily brush off, so it is been building up for quite a while. So what I suspect is going on with that cylinder is, or it's possible that due to significant carbon buildup, that the rings have gotten stuck, and that's what is causing the low compression on that cylinder. So I'll try to do a couple of things, or I'm going to try to free up those rings by putting some brake cleaner into the cylinder and moving the piston up and down several times, and do that for several tries, and see if I can get the leak down test results on that cylinder to improve. That's what I'm doing next. So the plan to free up the rings on the number 8 cylinder is to spray some choke cleaner in the spark plug hole, a lot of choke cleaner, and then move the cylinder back and forth, or the piston up and down, to work in the choke cleaner, and then to blow out the excess, and then repeat 5 or 6 times. And after that, I'll do another leak down, see if we see any improvement. I sprayed choke cleaner in the number 8 cylinder and moved the piston up and down. After doing that once, I decided I wanted to see how quickly the choke cleaner would run out of the oil pan. So I drained the oil and left the plug off the oil pan, and did it several more times, and the choke cleaner just ran out like it was like the piston rings weren't even there. So I don't know if I'm going to have any success at this at all. I'm going to go ahead and do another leak test just to see if there was any improvement at all. I'll show you that in a moment. So here's the results of the leak test. No improvement whatsoever. I'm trying one more cleaning method before I decide to pull the engine and do a rebuild. Since the choke cleaner was just running straight through the engine, I wanted to find some way to put something in the engine that was thicker and that would sit in the engine a little longer than just running straight through. I'm sure the choke cleaner cleaned the pistons a little bit, but it didn't get a chance to soak into the rings like I wanted it to. So I'm gonna use gear oil mixed 1-to-1 with the Marvel mystery oil. So hopefully we'll have a little better success. Since I'm doing this 1-to-1, I'm gonna fill the cylinder up as much as I can. I've lowered it down a couple of inches, so hopefully I'll be able to get quite a bit in there, and I'm gonna try this 2 or 3 times. Hopefully we'll see a difference. So one part of this is working better with the new solution. I'm just getting a drip instead of it just gushing out. I'll let it sit in the cylinder until it stops dripping, and then I'm going to repeat a few more times and we'll see how it goes. I ran about 1 liter of the gear oil and Marvel Mystery solution through the cylinder with no change in the leak down test. So I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to do the same thing. I have another 1 liter of the solution to go, but this time when I fill the cylinder, I'm going to hook up the leak down test and put some pressure on the cylinder through the leak down tester and see if that distributes the solution a little better, and see if that makes any difference. I'm pushing the solution through the cylinder with the air. So we're still not doing well on cylinder 8. Over the last week, I've run 2 quarts of the solution that I mixed up with gear oil and Marvel's Mystery Oil, and 1 whole can of choke cleaner through cylinder 8, and there's been no improvement. So I am going to give up on trying to revive the cylinder, and I've decided to go ahead and pull the engine. So the next thing you'll see me do is prep the car for removing the engine.